This is Emmylou, and I'm Tara. Camping and travelling solo means the whole setup falls to me. So let's set up camp together. I pulled into this caravan park in the late afternoon, so it was about 4:30 and it was starting to get dark. So I wanted to do a quick setup so that I could have everything done before it got dark. I have a bit of a system now, and I always start with my Dune awning. This awning was just from Anaconda, and it is so easy for me to put up solo by myself. It's not heavy, it's really light. The poles just all fold in on itself, so putting it up is just a matter of unrolling it and folding the poles out and then securing it down. I find it quite easy to do on my own, and I like that it's nice and light. Once I've got the awning up, I always feel that I can move on to everything else. It's just gives me a bit of peace of mind in case the weather turns. I've got a little bit of cover that I can get under and sort everything else out. This awning is 2 meters by 2 meters, and it just gives me some really good coverage over the door. So if it does rain, I'm not getting wet getting in and out of the camper at all. Once I adjust the height of the poles and get them to a height that's kind of suitable for me, I'm not very tall, so they don't need to go up too far, then I can move on to my next part of the setup. I will come back and put some ropes on these a little bit later. So the next thing I get out and put down is my floor mats. So I got these gorgeous mats from Temu actually, and I just store them in the King's doona and linen bag. And it's just a really good size because that way if it's wet when I'm going home, I can just roll everything up and put them in that bag. The really thick canvas just protects it. And stops me getting anything wet inside the camper if I have to pack up and go home early while everything's still a bit damp. These mats are just a woven plastic, and I really like them because they just protect the area around the camper. It stops me getting any mud or dirt into the camper, and they're super easy to clean. I can just hose them off when I get home, sweep them down while I'm there, give them a good hose when I get home, and they're ready to be used again. Oh, and don't forget, they're pretty. So they make my camp setup look very cute, and it's all matchy-matchy in the nice blue colour. So once I've got the mats down, I just adjust them to where I want them, and I have another little mat that I just put near the door, which is just a little bit of fake grass, and that just works as a bit of a doormat to wipe my boots on and to make sure I don't get any loose dirt into the van. Now the step up into the van is a little bit high for me. So again, from Temu, I got this very cute little step stool, which just makes it easier for me to step in and out of the camper. Once the mats are down, I wind the legs down on the van. So these are just stabilizer legs and just stop it from moving around a little bit. I always put the mats down first because I bring the legs down onto the mat at the back, and it just holds it in place and stops it from moving while I'm camping. Now you can buy an attachment for your drill to make this a little bit easier, so you're not winding it down manually. I just do it manually because I don't think I get enough incidental exercise these days. So I consider setting up camp my workout. And yeah, I just go around and do all 4 of those and then make sure that the van is nice and stable. I am on a little bit of a lean in this campsite, so I put the back legs down just a little bit further than the front legs. I don't usually use the stabilizing legs as levelers. I have got leveling blocks that I can use under the tires if I need to, but it wasn't too bad here, so I just thought, oh, I'll just use the legs to make it nice and even. Next step was to unhook it from the car. Now, look, sometimes I do this first, sometimes I do it in the middle. I don't really have a set kind of process that I go through, but this time I decided to do it after I put the legs down. So I just undo the chains from the car, both sides, and then I unhook my connector, my power connector, and put the jockey wheel down, and that's it. The van is all ready. Now, one of the best purchases I got for Emmylou and added a little bit later was this kick-ass ensuite awning. I love that it's blue. It just makes the whole thing look super pretty, but it is the most practical addition that I did for Emmylou. It essentially means that I am self-sufficient. So this works as my bathroom and my own personal amenities block, actually. So the best thing about the kick-ass awning is that it's got a roof, so you're not having to worry about if it rains. You don't want your camp toilet getting wet. You can go to the toilet when it's raining and you're not going to get wet. And you know, these days in campgrounds, nearly everyone's got a drone. And oh, I don't want anybody flying over and seeing me in the shower. I mean, gosh, that's the last thing anybody wants to see. So to prevent the trauma of fellow campers, I always put the roof up, make sure I don't get wet and they don't get shocked. It's a win-win for all of us. I always put some mats just down on the ground in the shower awning area, and I just have these rubber mats that just clip together, and I just put a couple of them down so the camp toilet's not sitting straight on the ground. It just stops it from getting a little bit damp. It is the middle of winter, and I just find that when you get up in the morning or as soon as the sun goes down, there's usually a frost and lots of dew around. So just by having the rubber mats there, it just keeps the ground in the toilet area just a little bit drier. So I just popped my camp toilet in there. My camp toilet was actually from Temu too, which is really amazing. Good buy. I'm really happy with that. It's got a little pump flash on it and quite like it. I do secure the awning tent just with some drill-in tent pegs just on all four corners, so that just stops it from flapping around if it gets windy and holds it all in place. So I pretty much have a lot of my camping stuff from Temu, so even the battery drill that I use is from Temu. So all the Temu products are actually in my Temu storefront that you can get to via the link in my bio. But yeah, just by carrying a battery drill and some screwing tent pegs, it just makes it so much easier. You're not banging and hammering pegs in all night. And even though, you know, I do wind the legs down for a little bit of exercise, hammering tent pegs in for half an hour is not my idea of fun. So the drill just gets the screwing pegs in nice and quick and holds the awning in place. I always pop in one of the Stanford Aquacam blue sachets into my camp toilet. They just keep it smelling nice the whole time I'm away. You can just get these from Anaconda as well. I think they come in a pack of 15 and they come in a few different scents. Last thing is just grab my toilet paper roll out of the kitchen area, and my ensuite is all set up for the whole weekend. So because I like to camp in a little bit more secluded areas, then I don't really want to be trekking down to amenities blocks. I like just having my own private camp toilet, my own personal toilet and shower. That's right next to the van for me, so that works really well for me. Once the ensuite's all sorted and set up, then I move back around and rope down my awning at the front. Now, I learnt the hard way. The awning that come with the van, I actually lost in the wind, and now I make sure that I tie this one down all the time. I put my ropes down. I always use the Easy Anchor tent pegs from Anaconda for my awning. They're a little bit thicker and they've got a really good grip on it. They also have hooks where you can just hook them onto your guy ropes. Now, I just use the standard ones when I'm camping regularly, but they come in two different sizes. You can get some of the tent pegs there that are a little bit longer. They're really good for sandy soil, so for camping near the coast. I've got a couple of those that I just use when I go near the coast, but I don't go to the coast very often. I'm usually camping in the bush or near rivers and streams, but if I do, I use the Easy Anchor ones that are a little bit longer. So these are just screw-in pegs as well, so you just use the star bit on your drill and screw them in. So always make sure my awning is tied down now. even if there isn't a forecast of the slightest breeze. I'm not taking chances anymore on my awning. So, yep, always make sure I peg it down. Not really sure why I do things in the order I do. It does seem a little bit all over the place, but I think it makes sense to me, so that's the way I set up camp. Now, once I've got everything out, I just put the King's canvas bag away. I usually just chuck that in the boot of the car, so it's out of the way, but when I'm traveling, I just put it on the bed in the camper. And the last few things I do is I store things in the camper when I'm driving. So I have my zero gravity chair that I put on the bed in the camper. That just stops it. It's just not moving around. It's not taking up space in the car. So I always have that. And I have that little nifty table that I put up out while I'm traveling. I keep things stored in the van. So after I'm finished the outside, I just get things out. I store the canvas bag in the car that had the mats in, and I just get out my zero gravity chair that I put on the bed while I'm driving. Now, I also have a nifty little table that I just put up. It's just a little fold out one, and it's just a low height. I just like to put something next to my chair to put my drink on. I find I don't really need a full size table when it's just me, and this one works really well. It just gives me something to sit things on next to my chair. Once all the outside's sorted, I just move around and get the kitchen set up. Now, my fridge is a 30-litre Dune fridge, and it really is a quite tight fit into the fridge cavity in my camper, so I couldn't fit a fridge slide underneath it. So what I do is I have a fridge stand, and I just put that out and pull the fridge out onto that, and then I just pop it in overnight when I'm going to close the door up. Because it sits right there, it's not heavy, and I'm not lifting the fridge right out. So it's quite easy for me to use. I think I just got it from Super Cheap, and yep, just folds up and slots in the camper while I'm driving. I then set up my little gas cooktop. Now the camper has got an induction stove, and that can be used when I'm on power, but when I'm off grid, I just use the little gas cooktop with the butane canisters, which just works perfectly fine for me. It's just super easy. Do find I need to warm the canisters up of a morning though, because they hate the cold, and they're not very efficient if they're cold. So once the kitchen's set up, then I just go and pack a couple more things in the car just to keep them nice and tidy. I do put a sheet down on the bed just to stop my chair getting my bedding all dirty, so pack that away in. Then it's time to just sit down and have a drink and relax for a little bit and take the campsite in now that everything's all set up. And the next morning, I open the camper door to the most glorious day and the most gorgeous campsite, and I'm reminded why I love camping.